Any matches? 1 second, I just need to make sure everything's available. Alright, go. Alright, we're good. And more equals kick. Now, if you ever go back to BF3, it's like this. It's literally empty. It's like a ghost town. I've reinstalled BF3 like I think like a year ago, and I could not find a single match. It's pretty much ghost town. BF4 still has a few servers up and running, but it's just so far and few. Like out of like 20 empty servers, maybe you'll find like three that are, you know, have some players. But yeah, I think all the I see more players on BattleBit in general compared to, you know, all three combined. So there's that going. It's just that, like, you know, I think a bunch of former BF players are either playing COD or BattleBit. There's not much else options out there. I mean, maybe some of them will, you know, occasionally hop back on BF3 or 4 or 1, but maybe once in a blue moon. It's kind of sad to see, but I mean, it's a BF 3. When did that came out? 2011 or so. So that's about, yeah, 13 years. BF4 2013. So that's 11 years. And then BF1, that is 2016, so about 8 years. So I mean, these are really old games at that point, if you think about it. Like, two of them are a decade, more than a decade old. One of them is 8, so it's kind of expected that you know, the servers will start becoming empty. Yeah, as I said, as far as I know, most of the previous Battlefield players are either playing God, either Warzone, or just, I don't know. Some of them may have hopped on the BF 2042 and try and salvage what they got remaining there. But I don't expect a whole lot of players. It's probably less than like 10,000 at any time right now. Much less, probably like less than 4,000. BattleBit probably has a good few thousands playing at at any time. I can just look it up right now. So let's guess while we wait. Steam charts. Or some of them might be playing completely different games, like Escape from Tarkov or I don't know. Who knows? It's BattleBit right now. Let's see. Only about 2,599. Battlefield 2042 according to Steam. 5,285. Battlefield 3. I don't think they have any data on that. Because it's... Oh, okay, only 98 players. That's only Steam, but across the board between EA client and what else, probably only a couple, like 150 or less. Battlefield 4. Only about 1,036 concurrently on Steam, but it doesn't show the data from people who, playing it directly on EA. They know that 3 and 4 didn't pop on Steam until later on, so maybe about 2K or so in general. But I mean, the number's been dwindling for a while. Let's just put it out there.
We have taken objective Edward.
64%. It's not my favorite gun, but I had to utilize it. This game is still one of the best looking shooter games out there. Look, this is on the lowest settings possible, and it looks like this. Imagine it on the highest possible settings. This game is 8 years old. Probably one of the best looking games in my opinion overall, in terms of shooter. I think second best would probably be Ready or Not at the highest graphic settings. But I'm very surprised how efficiently it runs. Got dinked.
Fix those wounds. That's first aid for you.
I wish they had prox chat. I hope the new Battlefield has it. I think it would make the game feel a little bit more alive. Like BattleBit has it, and it feels a little bit more like social, you know? This game does have VoIP, but it's only squad VoIP. I mean, it's been like that for a while.
A flame trooper kit is available near your location.
Ow, 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 ow. It's a little bit sad to see. I don't know what to say. I mean, I built my first computer for Battlefield 4 for the first time. And to see it fall from, you know, grace from 3, huge disappointment.
Medical pass for you.
But if you come back and play 3, 4, and 1 again, it's really, games are just unmatched. I don't know, it's just like such a unique game, even for I mean, you can play Arma and Squad, but it just doesn't feel the same. It doesn't have that. Can get pretty chaotic, or Held at Loose, or Postscriptum. I mean, they all are, you know, war games, but I think Battlefield has a nice balance between like fun and just chaos. Because when I tried to play Squad and Arma, I just felt like I was dying to things I could not see a lot,
Turn to the combat area.
and I could see if it's fun if you're like really big into milsims. But if you just want to just sit down and just, you know, just have fun, you know, just do whatever the hell you want, I think Battlefield just has that like kind of like perfect sweet spot to it, like that sort of like golden sort of golden rule about, you know, FPS. It has to be, it doesn't have to be too realistic. I mean, it can look pretty realistic, sound realistic, and even feel fairly realistic, but it has a good balance of like, you know, they know like, hey, if you make something super difficult or just very inconvenient, then, you know, it might not be fun. So they kind of figure out a good balance between arcade and realism. And
Here, first aid.
I think the only other game that is kind of there, minus the graphics, is probably BattleBit, but I mean, as you see, the player base is not that large. I think, did I say it was like only like 2.6k or so? Like right now, online at a time. It's not a I mean, I feel like this genre of FPS shooter is not as big as I'm not exactly sure where COD fits into this. I mean, it's an arcade shooter, but and it's not really known for its conquest mode. It's more known for its like TDM or S&D. But when it comes to like combined arms or just like capturing points, I don't know of any game that comes close. I've played a little bit of Search. It's actually a decent game. And it's a little bit more difficult. It's not perfectly realistic. It's not like a milsim. It's not like the perfect milsim. It's like a mix of.
Machine gun.
sophisticated realism. I think, yeah, actually, Insurgency does a pretty good job. If you don't want to deal with like vehicles or whatever, and just want straight just infantry combat with the same idea as capture the points, Insurgency is also actually a decent game. But it's much more small scale. It's a little bit more CQB than Battlefield.
First aid, use it.
It doesn't have like that sort of like large sandboxy sort of combined arms, just chaos trench warfare style, which to me is like a very unique thing about the Battlefield franchise. But one thing that I noticed around the time that Modern Warfare 1 and 2 were popping off, you know, after Battlefield 5 and on the release of Battlefield 2042, was that a lot of OG or just, you know, YouTubers, streamers, content creators who were known for playing Battlefield transitioned away. You know, after 2042 release, they transitioned to Call of Duty. Or I think that was happening way before, but yeah, 2042 was kind of like the nail in the coffin. I mean, as soon as you see, you know, those OG content creators transition to a completely different game, even, you know, especially a rival game, that's when you know it's pretty bad.
Some first aid.
I mean, it's kind of sad, but it's kind of expected. I mean, Modern Warfare 1 and 2 are decent games. Like, I've played it, I've enjoyed it, but personally for me, I saw some weaknesses in those games as well. They weren't the perfect game. They weren't. There certainly were some flaws with them, and certainly needed some change in certain areas. But I mean, they were decent, but they didn't really. I don't know. It was enough to draw, you know, COD players back in for a bit, but not enough to keep them around for long.
First aid, get patched up.
To me, there was some trouble with longevity.
Take the medical patch.
But yeah, huge fall from grace from both franchises, both COD and Battlefield. I mean, two of the biggest FPS shooters, you know, in the world, aside from CS:GO, obviously. Two of three. I guess Valorant is starting to, you know, gain traction as well. So that make that four the biggest. But they're from very, very different genres. So. Honestly, even, you know, at times COD doesn't even play like Battlefield. Like Battlefield, when it comes to like large arms warfare or large scale maps, Battlefield is kind of like its own thing.
That's some first aid.
Halfway there, the enemy.
Oof.
We have taken objective butter.
I'm just trying to get this automat Federov. Automat Federov. And I pronounce it. Alright, let's see. It's about 80%. If I don't know how I'm gonna do this C96 challenge. Gonna have to just accept death. Oof. This is... I don't know what this... like... I don't think I've seen a game capture such a dreadful atmosphere like this at all.
You want patching up?
Like gray,
We have taken objective apples.
gloomy,
Return to the combat area.
terrifying honestly, chaotic, just death.
Return to the combat area.
I think they did a great job. I think there's also, I mean, Postscriptum and Hell Let Loose probably also does a pretty good job too, but I don't think graphically it doesn't even come close. Oof. Oh yeah, I did see Lovecap's and Westy's video about stuff going on. Yeah, I don't know the full details of it, but to sum it up, I think the single player component, the guy that was supposed to lead it, left the company,
We have lost objective apples.
or left the studio that was responsible for the single player component or the campaign. And he's the former guy that worked at Bungie on Halo, the Halo series. So that's
We have taken objective Edward.
honestly disappointing, but not surprising, I guess.
We have taken objective Charlie.
I think for me personally, I'm a little, well, not a little bit, I'm actually pretty concerned. So DICE did say this is their largest, you know, development team yet. But it's there's so much different, it's like a Frankenstein. So I'm not sure how most game companies do it. I know that COD, you know, each component of the game has different dev teams. For example, like the campaign single player, it's, you know, it's done by a different developer studio, and then the multiplayer is done by a different studio, just to sort of like, you know, spread out the workload. And I'm not exactly sure how they did it in BF3 and 4 or 1, but the current team working on the next Battlefield is a mismatch of a bunch of studios, and I'm not sure how to feel about that. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, you know. I can see the, you know, the benefits and the the drawbacks, but yeah, I'm not exactly sure what to think about it. I think I'm fairly concerned because it seems like if you have different studios, there might be a lack of cohesion in terms of development. But I mean, if they're working on different components of the game, and assuming that they come together and in terms of
Objective Charlie.
just general development, like not the modes but gameplay, you know, graphics, audio, if there's some sort of cohesion there, then that's good. But
Take a medical pouch.
yeah, there's, if you're, you know, feeling concerned, then it's totally valid. Me too. I mean, my like
Take that first aid.
We are losing objective Duff.
when I heard of the news recently, or that level cap and whatever Westy mentioned, all those Battlefield guys mentioned about the guy leaving the studio. I'm like, oh no, that's not good. Plus the layoffs that gave me like sort of a,
We have lost objective
You know.
Edward.
you kind of feel like, I mean, if you've been around for as long as, the old school Battlefields 1, 2, 1942, 2142, it's a sinking feeling. Like when I heard about those layoffs, I'm like, that's, heart kind of sunk there. I'm like, that's just like, man, that's just bad news. It's like, you have hopes for the franchise, but then every time there's bad news after bad news, every couple of months, you have that sort of sinking feeling that you might not see the franchise return to its, former glory.
We have taken
Again.
objective Edward.
And I think one of the worst news that ever came regarding the franchise was when there was for me, it was when there was a mass exodus of DICE developers. That one was huge. So we're talking about a huge chunk of DICE leaving.
Enemy machine gun sighted.
And not just any
We have taken objective
staff
Duff.
members. We're talking about like people who've been there since the beginning, people who've worked on, Battlefield 1, 2, 3, 4, Battlefield
We
1,
have taken objective Apples.
the new one. Well, not the new one, 2016 one. Like a lot of legendary or OG developers migrating away from the company, along with a bunch of others who's been there, for a while. Big, some of the big names in the industry or in the franchise's history. So yeah, it's disappointing.
We have lost objective Apples.
I can fix your wounds.
That was the big one. That was like the haymaker to DICE.
Taken objective
When the
Edward.
migration, I mean, eventually, I mean, like, good on them to, put their foot down. You decided enough is enough,
Here's some smoke for it.
and then they ended up forming their own studio, which turned out to be Embark Studios. The guys who eventually went on to work on the finals. If you're familiar with that sort of objective, kind of like Overwatch style game, very chaotic. I tried it. It's pretty fun, but my computer have a hard time running it, so yeah. This guy's head's glitching. God damn it. I couldn't hit him. Probably behind like a log or something that I can't see. Yeah, I mean the current DICE is headed by Vincent Paula, who was one of the key figures in the Call of Duty franchise. We're not talking about the new Call of Duty, we're talking about the old ones, like Call of Duty 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, Modern Warfare 2, I believe. So like the OG founders. I think previously he worked on the original Medal of Honor, the first one.
Taken Objective Charlie.
That's very promising. But my only concern is if
Those wounds, I can fix them.
and I think it's a pretty good concern is if they change the direction of Battlefield in a way, you know, in the same way that they changed Call of Duty, right? Like what they did with Modern Warfare 1, the old school one, was that one was pretty good. Like if,
We have lost
but
objective apples.
eventually as you sort of transition from 1 to 2 to 3, the old school ones,
We have taken objective butter.
even personally for me, even though 2 I can you know, people give it a lot of praise, I saw that it had some issues, some problematic issues that, and I noticed that, and that was starting with the just the general gameplay, just the general, like, how do you say? Just they leaned into the arcade aspect of the game too much. I noticed that from number 2, Modern Warfare 2. Like, yes, it's a great game, but it felt like, you know, Activision at the time were like, hey, looks like we found a market. These people want, you know, these crazy perks. They want points every time they get a kill, just like ribbons and all that. You get a point for doing this, get a point for doing that. It was less focused on you playing smart and well, and more focused on you just running around and getting kills. And you weren't really punished for, obviously. I mean, but the thing is, once again, it is an arcade shooter, right? But I don't know. For me, it leaned in too much, or it leaned in too heavily to it. Like, I understood because it was, you know, Activision's owned by, I mean, it's a large company, and they need to earn revenue. So they did the most business move, and they, you know, put in features that were marketable features, and you know, just gameplay things, interfaces. They made it easy enough to learn, so that more players, more casual players, can jump in there. And personally, for me, because I started with World at War, and I also played Black Ops,
We have taken objective
the first one. Even with Modern Warfare 2, I looked at it. I'm like,
We have taken
it
objective
was
That's first aid for you.
hard to take the game seriously. Like, it kind of left a sort of, for me, it was like a sour taste in my mouth, because I saw that, like, even when I was a teen back then, I felt like, hey, this game just feels like, the best way to describe it is the movies, right? If you ever go to the movies and you ever watch any
There's some first aid.
military movie, so for example, if you say you would enjoy like Saving Private Ryan, or I don't know, like just any war movie, right? And then you go ahead and check out, like, for example, like a movie like either The Expendables or the A-Team, right? And then you're just, I mean, yeah, they were entertaining. They were obviously not realistic. They were marketed towards like teenage audience, but for me, it left like a kind of sinking feeling because you can kind of tell that it was marketed in a way to capture as wide of an audience as possible, and that audience happens to be, you know, teenagers, right? So you got like cheesy one-liners, lots of Michael Bay action, just meaningless storyline, just explosions and gunshots, and just some of the most unrealistic, you know. Or even like, just think of COD as the Fast and Furious of the FPS game industry. That's the best way I can describe it. And with that, when you looked at 2042, you saw, wow, they actually
We are losing objective.
leaned into the same ideas as well. Despite being different games, you can tell it was marketed in a way where, you know, it was meant to capture the mainstream audience, and the mainstream audience happens to love very arcadey features. I'm not saying, you know, COD Battlefield should be mil sims, because there's not the market, that's not the intended market. But we didn't need all of that, you know. We didn't need all of that unnecessary,
We are losing objective butter.
you know, weird skins, weird perks, weird just everything. Weird reward systems. And obviously abusable, like, game mechanics, like weird slide shooting mechanics, weird dolphin diving, jump shotting, you know, just weird abusable game mechanics. Those can be, obviously, I think those can be fixed pretty easily, but they refuse to do it because they don't want to alienate, or they don't want to upset the crowd that loves it. Just, you know, I hate to say it, but your Dorito Monster drink chugging audience or consumers. Dorito loving Monster drink chugging CDL players. They don't want to upset those players.
Do you want me to patch you up? Look out! Okay.
You know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with liking those games. Like, if you're enjoying it, good for you. I mean, it was meant, you know, it was meant to be mainstream, right? Like, if you like 2042 or MW3, despite the negative feedback, it was probably a game that was meant for you, right? But I think a lot of players that have been around for a while to see the game sort of, the franchise peak, you know, at Modern Warfare 1 and 3, I mean 1 and 2, old
We have
school,
taken objective Charlie.
COD, and then see Battlefield peak at 2, 3, 4, and 1. I'm pretty disappointed because the change in direction for the franchise, and you know, the got the push to make it more arcadey and just
Use that first aid.
more goofy and silly. I think all people wanted was just a clean modern shooter, good shooting mechanics, good graphics, good audio, no BS, just, you know, your classic operators with roles. You know, everyone has different
We are losing objective butter.
objectives, or you know, each class, or yeah, each class are responsible for different things, and you know, you have to work as a team because you know they each have their strengths and weaknesses and uses for different types of modes.
First aid board.
Oof. You know. Gotta just take bits and pieces. Take the graphics, take the audio from number one, take the gameplay. Well, even the gameplay from, you know, actually, all you had to do was take one and modernize it. Because everything else is already good. Graphics, I would say, is one of the best looking. Audio, one of the best sounding. Gameplay, shooting mechanics, probably one of the best feeling. Slightly even better than, I'd hate to admit it, but slightly even better than, slightly better than number 4 and 3. Is it easier? Yeah, it's slightly easier. And personally for me, number 3 and 4 were pretty up there, but this one is unique in its own way, and I think it does a really good job at it. So there's no real need to dial it back. I mean, if you want, you dial it back to number 4, but it's already good as it is. All you have to do is have modern weaponry and soldiers, and you know, aesthetics and modern environments. That's it. You can even keep the perk system in this game. It's just it's not complicated and deep in my opinion, but it's easy to learn, and I can just put it on and forget about it, not worry too much. I think 5 did an interesting job with, you know, changing things up a bit. So not entirely opposed to that one either. You know, just take the sniping shooting mechanics from number 5, right? People said that it's an improved version,
First aid.
but you know, one already did a good job itself. So I don't think it's such. No, I'm not sure what's going on through the minds of the, you know, DICE developers, but the answer is kind of there, and the community has been pretty vocal about what they want, and all they need to do is just listen, right? Also, they can take a Battlefield's also a good place to sort of for them to, you know, it's a good lesson learned from there, right? Take a look at what made Battlefield interesting and good game. Some of the features from Battlefield that I wish were introduced in Battlefield were free or manual leaning, you know, QE, which character leans without having to snap onto the environment. So you can have, you can kind of do both, right? You can do both contextual leaning, which is, you know, environmental activated leaning, or you and do free leaning. But you know, just offer free leaning. I think that, you know, as a modern shooter, it's kind of weird to not have it.
First aid for you.
You know, Squad, Ready or Not, they do it well. Escape from Tarkov, they do it well. Even Battlebit does it well. It's not that hard. It's, you know, I think they're like overthinking it too. The ability to drag players. I don't know why it took so long, but Squad, Battlebit does it. I'm not sure if Arma does it, but you know, why did it take so long until, you know, indie developers put it out there, you know, for it to finally be introduced in the game? And it's not even something that I would consider innovative. It's just that something, you know, developers finally realize, hey, why didn't we have this in there? You know, it's nothing new. Should have been implemented a while ago, because, you know, up until 2042, you still cannot drag players, especially when you're playing the medic class.
Get patched up.
Because ideally, what you want to do is you want to be able to pull them out of the situation, and then, you know, res them. Right? It's not that crazy. It's not that revolutionary.
I'll deal with those
It's
wounded.
kind of like common sense. Oof. What else did Battlebit did right that not even COD or Battlefield have right now? The ammunition system. As I said, Squad, Arma, Ready or Not, Battlebit, somehow they figured it out. But for some reason, Activision and DICE cannot. It's simple. Is, you know, each soldier gets a mag filled with whatever amounts of bullet. Say, for example, you got an AK with 30 rounds in it. You use a couple of rounds, hit the reload button instead of, you know, the bullet just magically refilling, or, you know, instead of the bullets disappearing altogether, it just, you know, it just sends the mag to the back of your pool of mags. I don't know if the right word for its mag pool system, but essentially it means that, you know, there are mags that exist, magazines. Say, for example, you have 40 magazines of 30 rounds. You know, you shoot 3, you reload, you fill your gun up with the new magazine. So that's what, like 30 plus 1, because there's still 1 round in the chamber. And then the magazine that you reloaded out of just gets sent to the back. So you still have it. It still has, you know, 26, 27 rounds, whatever, accounting for, you know, whatever it was left with the barrel or ejected. And it doesn't get discarded unless you specifically, you know, say for example, double tap fast reload to discard the mag. You know, quick reload. It drops to the ground. You can pick it back up. But you know, most of the modern shooters, AAA shooters, they have a simple, how do you say, bullet pool, or how do you say, round pool, or I don't know what you call it. Basically, mags for Battlefield or COD rounds is just about a magazine. So, for example, you have 120 bullets, you fire 3 then it just acts as though they are, 117 or so. So you just magically your gun refills automatically with 30. It just subtracts 3 from the full entire remaining rounds that you have. So it doesn't a magazine doesn't exist, or a partition, or obviously separation of bullets into 30s. It's just one whole pool of magazines. I mean of rounds.
We are losing objective butter.
Which is not awful, but it's kind of outdated in my opinion for a shooter game that wants to look or feel serious, At least implemented for like hardcore mode or something. But I think that moving forward, the next Battlefield should have a proper magazine system. Just copy and paste what Battlefield did, or Ready or Not or Squad. The answers are right there. You don't even have to change anything really. You just copy what they did. It's not trademarked. It's just a system. It's just that somehow those indie developers figured it out. That was the way to go. And for a game that looks like Roblox, it actually I'm surprised that it came out with that system in mind. If anything, Battlefield plays closer to Squad than it does to Battlefield.
Your wounds, I can fix them. For you, first aid.
Sniping. It took Battlefield the longest, even with number 4. It took them so long to finally fix the way scopes are visualized, right? Let me see if I can pull it up here. So I think with Modern Warfare, no, not even Modern Warfare, even Infinite Warfare actually brought in the idea of a picture-in-picture scope system. Have you ever tried sniping in number 3 or 4? Basically what it does is it makes it as though your character is putting his eye directly on the scope. So if you imagine this, and then you see like the housing of the scope, so just the metal all around the lens. Imagine all around there, instead of being able to see outside, it's just all black. It's just though your character is putting their eye directly on the scope, so they can't see anything outside of it. Insurgency did it right, where you can see outside of the housing of the scope. So you can see the environment around it, and that's the way it should have been. And then obviously they did it in picture and make it look properly, like as though there is a lens there. Has that I'm not sure if it's the most realistic, but it looks like there's this lens effect going on there. If you ever played Insurgency, you'll see what I mean when you pick up like a DMR or a sniper. That's the way it should have been. That's a nice edit touch that they did that I haven't not a whole lot of games do. Like even in this game, I mean, yeah, they have sort of like a lens aesthetic to it, but it doesn't have that proper like optical sort of effect to it, like lens effect. With the light sort of like, or the image sort of bending a little bit. Oof. a shot here. But I give BF1 props to the sniping mechanics. They added the critical shot system, which I like. Again, I'm not sure if it's the most realistic thing, but very cool, and it gives like sniping a whole new level of deadliness. But it also encourages long range shooting too, which I'm perfectly fine with. Although you don't have to, right? You can still play close range shooting. And surprisingly, in BF1, quick scoping actually feels like quick scoping. Because I think in Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3, the newer ones in COD, they have a slight delay to ADSing, so it doesn't hit the same, you know? I mean, I can see why they did that, you know, to prevent people from, you know, being able to one-tap you up close like that. But I think BF1 kind of struck like a good balance on that. So it's not like, you know, it's not like every round you deal with like somebody, you're running into a quickscoper all the time, because the match is so large that, you know, you only run into them once in a while. So yeah, even in like TDM, like I don't really run into them a whole lot. Out of course, I can hardly tell. So here's the thing, and I think there's a lot of controversy over microtransactions in AAA games. Personally, for me, in my opinion, if the game is free to play or 20 to 30 bucks, somewhere 30 bucks or under, especially when it's free to play, it makes sense to have a microtransaction system. But when it comes to a $70 game or $60 game, it's not okay in any way. I mean, yeah, it's a business, and you have to earn revenue some way, but I've been playing games for a long time, and none of the $60 games or $70 games that I've seen in the last few years, or let alone even the last, you know,
We have taken objective George.
3 decades,
We have taken objective Duff.
deserve to have microtransaction systems added.
We have taken objective
We're talking
Butter.
about full $60, $70 games made by AAA studios. From based off the quality of the games that came out in the last few decades, I don't think any of them deserve to implement a microtransaction system into their game. I mean, it's all been downhill ever since that, you know, ever since AAA studios got their hands on that whole system.
We have lost objective
I could
Duff.
understand if you're like any developer game, you only have a team. If you're like a team of like, you know, maybe like a couple people, and you know you need to earn revenue. Ooh, you need to earn revenue, sustain, you know, because you need to be able to pay for newer employees, hardware, servers, development, research and development, stuff like that. It makes sense. Smaller studio, and you know your game is only, you know, $20, $15 free. It makes sense. But never make it pay to win in any circumstance. Whether you're an indie developer or AAA studio, never make it so that you can pay to gain advantage. That's a big no-no. And that's what I see with a lot of East Asian games in general, especially RPG games. For example, Lost Ark. You know, in some way or another, you can convert real money to in-game advantage, and that's the one thing I was hoping that wouldn't happen. For example, if you play League in its current form, League of Legends or Path of Exile, the only thing you can earn by, you know, when paying for the game is cosmetics. Well, PoE has the stash tab system, so you can kind of say that's a little bit, just a smidgen pay to win, because you know you get extra tabs, meaning that you can hold more loot, right? Which may translate to some slight advantage, but you know, I think that they regretted making that system. So last Epoch they did it better by just giving you 150 for free.
I can see one of their soldiers.
Yeah, the biggest rule in any game where microtransactions are available is do not introduce a way for people to buy currency which can convert to some sort of advantage, whether it's, you know, XP boost or, you know, character stats advantage, or, you know, advantage by being able to earn characters with different, you know, abilities or stats that you cannot obtain just by, you know, just by playing normally. Or in the case of shooters, guns that are unique, you know, with different
A sentry kit is available near
specifications or specs that you can't earn in game, or can't be replicated with another weapon. You know, essentially don't introduce any pay to win aspect, right? But as I said, AAA games made by AAA studios.
A sentry kit is
That's
available
from
near
the
your
last
location.
couple of decades, from what I've seen. I don't think any of them, in my opinion, deserve to even add a microtransaction system whatsoever. But it's gonna happen. You know, large companies want their
You've lost
developers
objective George.
to implement a system that will provide a steady stream of revenue. There's not much you can do about it. It's just business, and it's, you know, obviously it sucks, and it's part of the downfall of, you know, games in general. But you know, not much you can do other than just kind of either just boycott the game or just, you know, just not play it whatsoever or think about it. That's the best you can do, is just not buy the game, right? and refuse to. If you know, if a developer did something, or lean into a system that you don't agree with, the best you can do is just not buy the game. Right. So, I mean, we all know EA has been doing this for a while. We all know Activision Blizzard has been implementing or has been doing that for a while. So, I mean, you as a consumer is just like one out of millions. So it's already people buying the game,
That's enemy cavalry.
regardless of, there's always gonna be an audience that will buy it, right? There's teenagers, there's people who just don't, people with money that don't even care, right? The system is there, and they have the money. They'll utilize it, right? So there's that. I mean, the best thing developers can do is make it less shitty. For example, if you're gonna be a AAA developer or a developer backed by AAA company and you need to earn revenue, despite not wanting to have to do it, obviously one is make it so that you can only earn aesthetics, or you can buy aesthetics like skins, gun skins, whatever, hideout furniture. That doesn't matter as long as it doesn't add any or doesn't make any changes to your character's or gun stats, right? And it doesn't make you obviously level faster. I think XP boosts, I mean, if you're gonna do EXP boosts, you gotta give everybody EXP boosts. Like, for example, EXP boosts, like weekend EXP boosts, whatever, not everyone's gonna be available during that weekend, but at least giving everyone the same access to, is whatever, right? The reason why they do XP boosts is to draw players in, and keep them going. I mean, I get it. It's annoying, but I get it.
We have taken objective.
Yeah, that's it. Just make it only aesthetics only. Now, on top of that, I would say make the aesthetics thematically matching. So, for example, 2042, Battlefield 2042, and COD, they really went out there in terms of thematics and aesthetics. It's just it just sticks out too much, I get if you do like a recolor, but it has to kind of match the game, right? If you're doing a 1v1 shooter, it'd be kind of weird to see someone running around in like a Santa Claus outfit or something, or like a Shrek outfit. I mean, yeah, there's gonna be people who want to buy that, right? But I would say just if you could do that under a different title or franchise, right? Like, instead of Battlefield, just do like, I don't know, Battlefield Friends, I guess. If you want crazy and fun skins, Battlefield Friends. Or, for example, COD, just like, I don't know, something that is not part of the Modern Warfare series. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, my cannot hit him. I'm not exactly sure how much to
We
lead.
have taken objective butter.
I missed like 10 shots.
We have lost objective butter.
Cause it just sticks out way too much. Obviously, I mean, people are gonna buy it and revenue's gonna come in, but it's just trending the game in a direction that is just really bizarre. I mean, if they're gonna do that, just give everyone the option. Just put an option in the menu, to disable skins, right? That's it, and leave it off, and then make it, you know, you have to opt in to disable it, right? Yeah. Give players the option to turn off skins so that they don't have to see it. Everyone else can,
We have lost
as long as you
objective
have the option enabled. I mean, disabled, right? So in the menu, graphics or gameplay, just be like, disable character skins. And then if you turn it on, you won't see other players' skins or even your own skin. If you turn it off, you can see everyone's skin. And then by default, it should be off. That way, you know, people who want to show off their skins are able to do it. Oh, damn. It hit. I don't think it's that hard. I think the developers, they overthink it too much, right? Like, if you absolutely have to introduce a microtransactions system and add skins in the game, either make it aesthetically and thematically
objective apples.
matching to the game, or give players the option to disable it. That way they can play how they like. People who want skins on can play how they like, and everyone's happy. I don't think it's difficult to implement, and I think that developers are just overthinking it. Obviously, some skins might have a better advantage than others, but it's not significant enough for most players to care. Right? Obviously, if you give players like a ghillie suit, that blends into an environment, yeah, they're gonna have a slight advantage, but and there's ways to fix that. Plus, you know, shouldn't really matter too much. You can just always tweak the colors.
Enemy cavalry.
Some people will argue, hey, if you give people the option to disable skins, because not only will it make it easier to see, then everyone else is gonna implement it. Who cares, right? I mean, if you choose to turn on a skin, you kind of accept the fact that you might stick out. If you choose to have the skin options enabled, you kind of have to accept that. I mean, especially if you're gonna be buying like skins that are just way out there, like a Nicki Minaj skin, right? And it's all, you know, really bright pink. You kind of accept the fact that you're at a disadvantage. So, and players who want to disable skins should, you know, be given that option. Like, yeah, they're gonna have a slight advantage, but that's the way they chose to play. And I don't think it matters for a majority of players, right? So it's not even worth, you know, overthinking about. Jesus. that's one of the ways I think, you know, the general player base can be accommodated, while also satisfying the idea of having a revenue generating system. Because we all know that that's where all games are heading towards. As much as I would like to see that go away, because we kind of have to work around it, then yeah, you know. One of the few games that sort of does this is, for example, for me, it's
We have lost objective
Guild Wars, right? You have the option to turn the graphics down so low, in terms of like texture options, so low that every character's skins becomes disabled, and they're just the default character model, which is nice because if you're playing on a low end system and you need to, you know, regain your frame rates, being able to turn the graphics down low enough where the skill effects and the skins of other players becomes disabled, and then, you know, your computer doesn't have to work as hard to render all of those. It's a nice option to have. But obviously, if you have a beastly system and you want to see everyone's skin, all you gotta do is turn the graphic higher, and they enable again. Everyone is happy, right? Everyone's accommodated. Like for me personally, I'm not completely against having microtransactions in the game, because it makes sense in the context of, you know, whether the game developer studio is small scale and needs to earn revenue to be able to pay for development and, you know, resources. I'm only opposed to it if it's a AAA game studio that's charging you full price, right? Because at that point, it's not even about generating revenue to, you know, pay your developers well, or, you know, put it towards development on the game. It's just to please the shareholders or investors, and to sort of just line the pockets of executives. That's why, for me personally, like, you know, Ubisoft, EA, Activision, Blizzard, whatever, they don't deserve to put microtransactions into their game, because none of that is ever towards the quality of the game, ever. It's literally just a business move to earn more profits. That's it. That's why, for me, context always matters, right? For example, BattleBit, right? It makes sense for them to do it, to add it in, because they need to be able to maintain their servers, and, you know, hire more developers, continue, you know, improving the game, and, you know, they have a small team. But yeah, it's so weird when I, like, maybe I spoke about this in the past, but it's so weird when you see content creators, whether they're streamers or YouTubers or whatever, kind of shill for AAA studios, AAA companies, developers. Either, you know, sometimes they're, you know, like super dismissive, or you know, condescending in a way. I'm like, there is a legitimate concern there. There's a reason why people are sort of up in arms, because it's the whole idea of, you know, just always needing to generate revenue has led to the constant churning of low quality games, whether AAA games or even like some of them are even like, and let's not forget that there's a bunch of quote unquote indie developers out there who are just sort of grifting. Churning out like not even full games, just like asset flip products. Pretending to be a game, only to pull the rug and, for example, was it? Not Days Gone, was it Days Beginning or Days Begone or something like that? That game where the developers were literally scamming players, right? That's technically a smaller studio. That's not a AAA studio. So, I don't even if you can even call them indie developers at that point. But I mean, indie developers are not how do you say, blameless, right? Like I think that if you're a small studio and then you push out vaporware, the indie scene is not completely how do you say,
There's some first aid.
there's gonna be studios or individuals that will, obviously bad actors, and will churn out scams. It's not just strictly a AAA thing. It can happen at a smaller level too. So to that I say, do your research. When you see a game on Steam, wait for the Steam reviews, wait for the content creators to review it.
We have lost objective Apple.
Just be careful. Obviously search up the developer company, any backing, like, company that's backing the developer, where they're from, what projects have they worked on previously, who are the individuals, what projects have those individuals worked on previously. And if their website leads to nowhere, or if you cannot even find, an official site, then red flags are absolutely, those are red flags that you should. Wow, this guy's just healing like crazy. I think he's he's medic with all that healing stuff. But yeah. Was it Days Begun or something like that?
Sentry kit is available near your location.
Long story short, developers push out a game, obviously spent like 90% of their capital on marketing, and obviously found a bunch of large scale streamers to promote or sponsor their product. Turns out it was a scam. A lot of people got burnt. Hopefully at least most people will get refunded by Steam. And
That's an enemy horse
those founders or developers or studios, I'm not sure if like all the staff were in on it. I'd say a good chunk. Some of them might have been oblivious, but the founders were known for churning out copy paste games that were obviously asset flips, and as soon as they earned their revenue, they disappeared, form a new company, or just rename their company and to do it all over again. The reason why they're so successful is a lot of they put a lot of money into marketing. So they found streamers to showcase their products, and people want to try it out because they see their favorite streamers playing it. Word of mouth, and game pops off, and then after the first couple of days, developers obviously disappear. That's what they did. They scammed a bunch of people. They disappeared, formed a new company, and
Return to the combat.
did the same thing though. It's, rinse and recycle, rinse and repeat. The best thing you can do is just do your research before you buy a game from a company that or a developer studio that you've never heard of. I'm not saying all indie developers are like that, but you should just do it's your hard-earned money. Research wherever you can. You've got plenty of resources. And if you're not sure, then hold off. You know, wait until content creators push it. You know, and give their reviews. Now, here's one thing that I do say when it comes to content creators. You gotta also be aware that a good amount of them who are playing the game on day one, not all of them, but a good amount of them, are either sponsored, are promoting the game, or partnered, whatever you call it. Basically, the developers gave them a key to the game, give them access, and in return, they either get paid or get some form of kickback, right? So if you see a bunch of your favorite streamers playing a game out of nowhere that you've never seen before, that they've never played before, from a studio that no one has ever heard of before, and they're playing it for a week straight, 2 weeks straight, 3 weeks straight, just know that it's likely that they're being sponsored, or promoting the product. So that's why my rule of thumb is, when it comes to a new game that no one has ever heard of, wait a week, watch the first week, watch what the streamers or YouTubers are saying on the first week, and if you still aren't sure, wait a whole month, because usually those sponsorships or promotions only last anywhere between 1 week. Some of them, so here's the thing, some promos last only a few hours, right? For example, Raid Shadow Legends will sponsor a streamer for maybe like a few hours and pay them like thousands of dollars, right? Maybe a day, maybe a week, maybe a month. If you see someone playing Raid Shadow Legends that, you know, when they normally don't play it, it's likely that they're being sponsored for a set amount of time. All you have to do is just wait that week, wait that 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and see if they're still playing it. And if they're not, then, like for example, if they were playing it for like a few days and they completely stopped playing it after, you know, the first 1 or 2 days, or even after the first week, it's likely that they were sponsored. The game is not worthwhile, and that's how you know you shouldn't buy it.
I'll deal with those wounds if you like.
And I'm not saying that there's something, you know, it's entirely wrong for you as like for streamers or content creators to accept or take sponsorships, but you as a consumer or a viewer just need to be vigilant, because I mean, if you think about it, streamers, YouTubers, for streamers, YouTubers, whatever platform they're from, any sort of content creator or influencer, you know, it's a constant hunt to find ways to earn revenue, whether it's through paid product promotions or whatever, events promotion, but in some form or the other, there, you know, a kickback is offered, whether it's, you know, some type of bonus or whatever, stipend, or, you know, just money, right? Either money or access to the game or whatever. But and for me, my message to content creators in general you know, if I had to speak for all the content creators out there, streamers and YouTubers, please, for the love of God, follow FTC guidelines and do the right thing and mark your stream with clearly and visibly showing that you are either sponsored. You can either type in, you can put in your title, put it in the stream video itself, or somewhere in the description, showing that you're either partnered, you're
Fix your wounds.
promoting the game, you're sponsored, or whatever. Or you know, you got offered a key by the company. Essentially, if a company reaches out to you, developer studio reaches out to you, offers you a key to play the game, you have to notate in the, you know, in your stream titles or description that you're being promoted, regardless of whether you're earning revenue or not, right? Because you're offered something in return of you showcasing the game, right? And for me is to, like, also another message to content creators is, if you're being offered a key to promote a game or market a game out or showcase it, do the best thing for you and ask to be given revenue for that. You should not be promoting games without at least being given some form of payment, because it's your time, right? And you should be being paid for it, right? You should not work for free. But you have to be as transparent as you can. You have to be transparent with your viewers. Like, you had to clearly show that your stream is being sponsored, or your YouTube video or something that you're partnered. For example, if you're pushing out Battlefield content, you had to say, hey, I'm partnered with EA or partnered with DICE. I'm a DICE partner. Then, well, like, you know, Valorant streamers or League of Legends streamers, it'd be nice to just, you know, show in the description that you're part of the partner, you know, Riot Partners or something. At least in the description of, you know, the stream or the video. Riot Partner, hashtag Riot Partner. That's it. It's not that hard. Or somewhere in the title, you know, hashtag sponsored, or hashtag ad, hashtag promo, or hashtag, you know, just indicating that, hey, the stream is a promotion or a marketing, part of a marketing deal.
First aid, use it.
You know, just follow FTC guidelines and you should be good.
For you, first aid. First aid, take it.
This is it, you know. Streamers have to earn revenue. Viewers, you know, want to be entertained. Just streamers just got, or content creators just gotta be transparent. Viewers just gotta be vigilant. You know, your viewers are the ones that are being influenced, right? So the way I approach games personally is, first I read about go on Steam, check the developers, or check the developer studio, try to find info about them, try to find info about the company that's, you know, sponsoring them or above them. And then I see what all the other content creators are saying about them. I try to see if they're sponsored by those developers or company, and try and get multiple viewpoints off a game. And if I'm still unsure, I hold off on getting on the game on release or early access or whatever, pre-order. Wait until I see what the streamers are saying. Wait a month or two after. And then, you know, once that sort of honeymoon period, you know, of sponsorship honeymoon period is over, and say for example the streamers stop playing it, then I know that it's not worthwhile. Or some. But you know, I've bought into early access games. I've bought into pre-orders or day one, you know, release purchases. I've bought games that turns out to be vaporware. The best thing I can do is share my experience and share my advice on how to approach this, because you know, not everyone is aware, right? There's an older crowd, there's a younger crowd, you know. Not everyone is an informed consumer, right? Not everyone thinks about this. I think a lot of games are marketed towards people who might not know better, like children, young teens, people who, you know, might have access to some form of payment method and have no sense of, you know, financial responsibility. So best you can do is just look out for them. Try and inform them. Hey, you know, this is gotta be careful with your, you know, your money or someone else's money. Sort of like teach them, you know, not chastise them or be dismissive, right? And I've seen some really like large streamers that, you know, multi-millionaires or millionaires out there saying, you know, when people bring up the idea of, hey, you know, this game or this content or whatever that is being marketed is sort of harmful to, you know, certain crowd that don't know any better. Their response sometimes would be like, then don't let the teens or children buy it, or don't let them on there. I'm like, you know, yeah, you have a point, but that's not exactly addressing the issue, right? That's just like a bandage solution. That's just dismissiveness and condescendingness. That's just smartassery without actually, you know, realizing the full, you know, the full issue, right? I've seen a lot of, you know, streamers that have very like either super out of touch takes or just really shitty takes. You know, people have legitimate concerns. You know, and it's, if your only answer is, hey, don't give a fuck, you know. You can tell when the streamers or content creators out of touch when they find themselves leaning into or defending companies rather than, you know, rather than erring on the side of consumer protection. It's like, I feel like people who either shill or defend companies and sort of try and sound intelligent about it don't realize that they are themselves the victims of you know, corporate propaganda, company propaganda, they're exactly the people who these companies are targeting. And and it goes to show how successful it is, right? Because not only is this like out of touch content creator who has a very large viewer base oblivious to the fact that they're completely, in my opinion, brainwashed. They're also preaching to their audience as well, which now you don't just have one person, now it's just thousands of people following the same ideas. Why? Because those viewers, they don't know better. They're, they just agree with what their favorite content creator says. It's like an echo chamber, So every time I see like content creators out there say something completely, in defense of companies or corporations, I know right off the bat that they're pretty out of touch and they're essentially brainwashed. And some of them feel like, obviously they are smarter than everyone else. And obviously they're viewers who are obviously agreeing to them. It's an echo chamber. So now it's like, it in itself is a problem, but enough of that sort of rambling and ranting. Going back to Battlefield, I mean, I'd hate to say it, but DICE is owned by EA, the same way Blizzard is owned by Activision, it's owned by Microsoft. And until people stop buying these games, things will not change. Things will just continue the way they are or become worse and worse. Quality games will continue to be, poor quality. It's just, that's why I said the best you can do is just inform other people and, tell them, something is not right, and just vote with your wallet. Not buy the game, give a thoughtful review of a game. Not, review bomb it for no reason, just because everyone else is doing it, but actually review properly and
I can patch your wounds. Here's some first aid, pal.
there's a horse nearby. Look, many of us got, are pretty burnt, right? There's people who have been gaming for longer than I have. 4 decades, 5 decades, 6 decades, and they know the ins and outs. If you're in your 20s,
Losing objective apples.
keep an eye out for other people who don't know better. Keep an eye out for, newcomers. Right? Teens, children's. There's nothing wrong with being vocal, right? Voice your concerns. Because there's gonna be people out there who don't know better. And the only way for them to know is, if people who are familiar with the industry, familiar with the scene, voice their concerns. Nothing wrong with that. And to all those out of touch millionaires, influencers, content creators who love to roll their eyes about people from voicing their concerns. You know, to them I say, you're not smarter than everyone else. You're exactly the person that these companies wanted to brainwash, and there we go. There it is. You are that person. You know, does your perspective have, you know, your perspective is not entirely invalid. It's just that you look less credible when you somehow find yourself constantly erring on the side of companies and corporations as opposed to, you know, people who are obviously looking out for others and, you know, err on the side of consumer protections and rights, right? And most people, they don't realize how much companies and their lobbyists or their marketing team spend to push out, you know, the same quackery over and over, and, you know, try and convince certain people to think a certain way.
I can fix him. First aid, get patched up.
Or what do you believe? But yeah, I think people, you know, for me personally, I think people have a right to share their concerns, be concerned and share their concerns. Nothing wrong with that. And sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming. Like, there's sometimes where outrage is just for the sake of outrage, and there's just people who like to review bomb, sort of troll, and just follow what others are saying without critically thinking. But I think for the most part, I don't think it's been that problematic. You know, obviously there's certain times or places or moments where that's happened, which is, you know, those people deserve to be called out for obviously their piss poor behaviors. But can't really conflate that with the people who actually, you know, are legitimately voicing their concerns, right? It's not just people complaining to complain. It's people who are actually legitimately concerned and are trying to warn others, right? So don't conflate those two together, right? But also people who do the review bombing or just trolling or just, you know,
We are losing objective apples.
how do you say? You know, shitting on either smaller studios because of something that might be out of their control. That's another problem too. Like, I'm not saying, you know, totally justified, so. But for me, criticism is what criticism is due. People have a right to voice their displeasure of a product, you know, when they were expecting better. So if it involves someone having to spend money, or not even spending money, but their time as well on a game, and the game didn't turn out as expected, then it's okay to voice displeasure. It's just a few who are not, you know, those who are not really providing meaningful feedback,
Patch your wounds.
or, you know, a bit annoying, but
We are losing objective apples.
it's not entirely without merit. can't see through this fog.
We are losing objective apples.
That's first aid for you. Moving.
I don't have any equipment for that. Dang it. I didn't see him. This is not exactly the gun I want to use. Let's see, Cherigati, Selbstater, M1907 SL Sweeper. Is this automatic? Oh, it is. I mean the Mondragon, that's semi-auto, right? Auto loading. I believe this is lever action, so auto loading extended. 0.25 extended. Let's try the sweep route since we unlocked it. See how it goes. But I think that it's only iron sight, but it's fine.
Take the medical pouch.
Oof. This chaos. I gotta use my pistol. I don't know what's the. Let's see. Let's see. Fedorov. Automat. Optical. 40 kills with Cherigati Trench. 20 kills with the C96 pistol. That's not a whole lot. I just gotta
Objective apples.
die a lot, but 20 kills is eventually you'll get there, right? It's doable. The only problem is to get up close. So, I mean, what now? You know, what now with Battlefield? Modern game. You can either do Battlefield 3, Bad Company, or Battlefield Bad Company 3. Damn it, should have smoked it. Or you could just return back to the modern settings. You don't actually have to follow the storyline of 3 or 4. Just put it in either a modern setting. I think that
We have taken objective apples.
if they did follow number 4 or 3 in terms of like storyline, it's kind of way too ahead, right? It's way too ahead for me, because number 4 kind of left off with, you know, obviously you know, China and Russia going to war with obviously the NATO alliance, right? US and whoever. But I think that if they, in my opinion, if they were to kind of dial it back, put it into a modern near future settings where
Halfway there, the enemy has the
NATO
upper
is
hand.
on the brink, you know, sort of build up, preparing for large scale conflict. That's, they want to refresh the franchise, kind of start off with there, right? And as I said in the past, the perfect time or perfect sort of settings would be whatever's happening in Ukraine or, you know, near Taiwan or the Philippines. Just that's kind of the perfect scenario there. It's like the story writes itself. You could just follow whatever is happening because it's an ongoing event and you don't have to make anything up. You just gotta follow what's going on. Like, I think the war in Ukraine or the conflict between China and Taiwan is the perfect scenario for the next Battlefield game. You could do both, right? On one side of the story or the other, you can cover the Ukraine conflict. Yeah, on the other side, you can cover the Taiwan and China, you know, not conflict, but tensions. And just, you know, start building up.
We have an airship en route.
And then you can make the DLCs be, you know, as events unfold, right? You know, it doesn't have to be like, say for example, what's the new Battlefield? It's gonna be listed under like 6 or something. It doesn't have to be like, hey, we're already at full scale war. It could be like launch day. Tensions are rising. There has been a few incidents that might be sort of like the powder keg moment sort of deal, or not exactly the powder keg, but just like sort of like the things that are accelerating the build up to a large conflict, right? Be like whether it's there's like a few, for example, it could be like, you know, a jet going down or a ship or a unit getting killed or something. It doesn't have to be like, you know, full on launch day.
Medical pass for you.
Obviously, the modern Axis already at war with the, you know, current allies, but it could be the DLCs could be, you know, the lead up to it, right? And then the final DLC would be like full on, you know, full on conflict. That's probably the smartest thing to do right now, in my opinion. They could,
Take that first aid.
you know, they could return back to following the timeline of number 5 and move on to the Cold War, Vietnam War era, but I think that right now might not be a good time to do that, because that's not what people are asking for at the moment. Like when it, like, I'll be honest, when BF1 came out, I don't know how to say this. No one was asking for a World War One shooter. Look, the game is good. It's an excellent game, and it was a surprising welcome. But no one was asking for it. No one was asking for World War One or World War Two again, because it's well overdone. It's been covered by lots of games, lots of movies, lots of books. Even Vietnam War era too. It's already been overdone. And one could even argue that modern times might be also overdone, but every game has its own rendition of the modern settings, like, because it's you have to predict what's going to happen in the future. So in a way, the modern settings, it's not, you know, you can't really overdo it if it's, you know, up to imagination, right? But if you're obviously covering history, you know, there's only really just the facts of history and, you know, how do you say, tell that story or interpret what happened. But there's very little ways you can deviate from, you know, history that's well documented. But with a modern settings, there's so many ways you can interpret what's going to happen or predict, right? And I think that the original developers that worked on, and DICE that worked on number 3 and 4, did a pretty good job when it came to, you know, putting the game in the proper settings or tone,
We have taken objective
right?
apples.
and obviously it started you off from conflict in
There's some first
the
aid.
Middle East, and sort of took you around the Europe and whatever. But they had the right idea. But if they really want to hone it in, get things done right, I would say
Using objective Alpha.
lean into the Ukraine conflict, lean into the tensions with China and Taiwan, because now would be a good time. And it also helps that, you know, as events are unfolding in real life, that there's a game out there covering it, right? It just provides, you know, a constant flow of content in terms of, you know, updates or DLCs or whatever. And it's a good way to also potentially provide support, right? Show of solidarity. 'Cause I'd imagine that the original
Take a medical pouch.
damn it. Climbing took me a while. Got headshotted. I mean, what is DICE? They're Swedish, right? It would make sense that they would be supportive of Taiwan and Ukraine. So it's a good opportunity for them to show solidarity with those countries that are being affected or being, you know, are victims of aggression. Especially if you're a company that originated from a native or a now NATO country, or, you know, I gotta use my pistol. Oof. But yeah, it would make sense if, I mean, look, Bohemia Interactive, there's Edge, right? DICE, the original DICE, Swedish. Even if, you know, now the current DICE is multiple countries, but they're mostly Western countries. So it makes sense if they cover the Ukraine war and, you know,
There.
and
First
also
aid.
use that as an opportunity to showcase, you know, the suffering that Ukraine is undergoing, right? Holy chill, he's dead. I mean, you know, everything's up in the air, but I think, in my opinion, that's the way to go, or that's probably the best way to go
Enemy battle.
right now, because I think at this point
Take the medical pouch.
most of the world are, their eyes are kind of open to what's happening, or, you know, around the world, and, you know, whatever it's the hell's going on in Ukraine. And if you really want to, I think the only issue is that
You're injured. I can help. There.
EA
First
might
aid.
have shareholders or investors that might not be happy about that, but I would say, fuck him. Fuck him. I mean, I'm willing to bet that a good chunk of EA is a publicly traded company, is owned by, you know, either Chinese investors or Chinese company or corporation or whatever, or even Russian company or corporation or entities or individuals, whether they're investors or shareholders, have a stake in EA. Gives a fuck, right? It'd be the perfect time for DICE to sort of stir the pot, you know? Sort of like, how do you say? Push out a game that is raw, you know, uncut, sort of no holds barred, you know, not held back by some
We have taken objective Duff.
investor that is not happy. You know, like fuck him, fuck him, fuck them all.
I can see an enemy medic.
Like I can give two shits if Dice whips out a game that piss off their the Chinese investors. Like, fuck him, you know. Fuck those shareholders. Fuck those
We
investors.
are losing objective apples.
And in my opinion, fuck those companies that bend over to those entities. That's why a lot of people are hoping that indie developers would be the saving grace, just because they're not beholden to those same, you know, those entities, shareholders, investors, foreign investors and shareholders who will try to influence the narrative of a game, whether it's their storyline or their characters or their, you know, payment system, whatever. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing: we all know that DICE is still beholden to EA, right? Their decision making, because EA is their boss, essentially above them. So they're gonna show some restraint on certain topics, but you know, which is why for me personally, I want to see indie developers push out like a really good shooter that does not hold back. But at the moment, I'm not sure if there's any so far. Like a modern, clean shooter that is how do you say, is, you know, doesn't bend over to corporate or, you know, company bullshit. But how did I get matched in the already
That's first aid for you.
weird ongoing match? Is this Conquest? Yeah, but I mean, basically, as much as I hate to admit it, Activision and DICE are not the saving grace right now. I think most people just have to either, you know, accept that reality. So as long as they are, you know, under the watchful hands or the hands of larger corporations. I think that's just the way it is. It's not like, I mean, just you as a consumer, the only thing you can really do is just not buy the product, right? Holy fuck. If anything, let those content creators QA for you. Let them QA for that month, that honeymoon period, that first month of sponsorship. From there, you know, check out the reviews, check out the viewership, make your decision from there. Let them pay their good money. Some of them don't even have to pay money; they're being paid to review a game. So let them QA for you, and just be vigilant, be smart. Just remember, first week, first 2 weeks, first 3 weeks, first month, it's a promotion. they're hyping it, it's because they're being, they're being sponsored or promoted or paid or earning something in return. So think critically. Right? And make sure to call out people who don't, that are not following rules or not being transparent, right? As I said, content creators should be following FTC guidelines. It's not even a matter of,
I'll deal with those wounds if you like.
it's not just only an ethical thing or a moral thing, right? It's also a legal thing. They're still beholden to FTC guidelines. They're not following the rules, procedures, or even the laws. But it's not like the FTC is gonna crack down on them. It's just more like a guideline. But
We have taken objective Freddy.
not following those rules, then they're gonna be called out.
First aid. Get passed up.
I gotta do my pistol challenge. It's gonna suck. Oh fuck.
We have lost objective Edward.
You see there, the scout.
Damn it, I was hoping that a guy would flank him. Oh, he was down to 6 health. Oh, good. Oh, let's flank with these boys. I have a better chance of just getting in there, get up close, get my shots in.
We have lost objective Freddy.
I mean, firstly, for me, I think it would be pretty cool to be like, hey, the new Battlefield's coming out. DICE wants to do something with you. It's okay to accept that, but just be transparent. Follow the rules. It should be good, and also try be as. Obviously, you're gonna have some bias, but try to be as neutral as possible. That's where you have some sort of credibility,
We are losing objective Duff.
or at least some shred of credibility. But as long as you be transparent and try to be as neutral and offer valid criticism and not try to fluff everything and withhold
We
information.
have lost objective Duff.
Good on you.
That's an enemy
You're
shock
you're,
trooper.
you're okay to accept paid sponsorships and do promotions and partnerships as long as you do what's right. That's it. It's not that complicated. It's not that hard. Just gotta be open with your viewers, right? Gotta let them know, hey, I'm being sponsored, I'm being promoted, or I'm promoting a game, I'm marketing a game. It's an ad, it's a promotion, it's
We are losing objective Charlie.
partnership. That's it. Because it makes sense. You have to hustle to get to earn revenue, but you also have kind of an obligation to protect your other consumers because you are an influencer. Not every influencer is gonna do that. They don't care. Once they earn their money, some of them are obviously ethically or morally questionable, and all that matters to them might be just they're in their bag, and they're laughing all the way to the bank. Their viewership obviously are oblivious to it or brainwashed or whatever.
First aid, use it.
And they don't care. There's plenty of large millionaire,
We are losing
multi-millionaire
Charlie.
influencers out there, content creators, Reddit streamers, or YouTubers or whatever, even outside of the gaming industry, influencers promoting products and, you know, to their audience or fans, whatever. And you know,
We
obviously
have lost objective Edward.
it's not illegal to give a shit, right? They earn their money and they don't feel bad about it. Or, you know, for example, if they're promoting like a scam product and they earn their money, most of them, or a good chunk of them, don't really give a shit, right?
Return to the combat area.
Oh. So, that's why I say, like, you know, viewers gotta learn how to think critically, be on top of things, and do their research, and be smart about things. And look out for each other. Because not all viewers or fans are good critical thinkers. Some of them are, you know, children. Some of them are young teens who don't know better.
First aid, get patched up.
Right? So
You're injured, I
if you can look out for them, then it helps everyone. Because not all influencers are, you know, morally or ethically obligated to follow rules or, you know, be transparent, right? Or, you know, not even obligated to follow even laws too. So,
You want those wounds patched?
because as long, you know, to them, as long as they earn the money,
There, first aid for you.
that's all that matters to them. And you can tell. You can
Use that
tell
first aid.
who those are. But children cannot. Children and young teens that are not really good at that, are not capable of critically thinking, you know.
We are losing objective Charlie.
So
I'll fix those wounds.
fuck.
There's an enemy armored car.
I'm just trying to do my shot, my pistol challenge. It's 20 kills. It's not a whole lot, but it's not me trying to do, especially on the large scale battle. You have to kind of like get up super close. That's a challenge, bit of a challenge. Okay, I mean, enough of that ranting and raving and how do you say?
We are losing objective butter.
What's the word for it? Rant, raving, rambling. I've, you know, spent like an hour or two on that.
You got damage. I'll fix
What did
it
I
up.
leave off? Okay, so the next battlefield. What can they do and what can they improve on? I already discussed
First aid. Take it. I can fix your wounds. First aid, take it.
thematics, right? Themes and storyline. Like, what can they do?
Let me patch your wounds.
You know, what theme can they cover? I think I already covered graphics, audio and shooting mechanics, as I said. All they had to do is just take the technology or improve. I think what they want to do is actually improve, because I think this is the Frostbite 3 engine, right? So obviously the next game has to be on a dramatically improved Frostbite 4 engine with, you know, an improvement on the current technology that was used to make BF1 look like this, right? The engine technology, game engine, including, you know, graphics, audio engine, physics engine, whatever.
We have taken
BF1
objective
did a
butter.
really good job at it. Just improve on that. Shooting mechanics, animations, just improve on what
We
Battlefield
have
1
taken
did.
objective Charlie.
All you have to do is modern guns, modern weapon, you know, modern weaponry, modern characters, modern aesthetics, modern vehicles, aircrafts, tanks, you know, armored vehicles and transport vehicles.
First aid. Use it.
Probably want to rehire some of those OG Battlefield developers who, you know, worked on 3 and 4,
Take that first aid.
because they're the reason.
We have lost objective Charlie.
Dang it. I was trying to get my pistol up, but couldn't get the hit. What else? Try and minimize what the whole, like, I mean, if you're gonna add a microtransaction system, as I said, add the option to disable skins. Make sure there are 0 pay to win aspects to it. Only skins, and, you know, skins that are not,
You see him? Shock trooper.
you know, thematically bizarre, or just completely does not match the game whatsoever. Just want to avoid those. Obviously, for me personally, scalability, you know, give players more options to adjust their graphical settings to as low as they can, or as to as high as they can, and anywhere in between. That way, you know, everyone's sort of accommodated.
I'm looking right at an enemy soldier. Do you want me to patch your wounds?
And I would say one other thing that I, you know, doubt will happen.
Objective butter.
Don't make it $70. Come on now. Drop it back down to 60. Like, fuck off with that $70 bullshit. Games are not due for inflation. The fuck? If anything, games are due for a price track given the shitty quality that's, you know, been happening the last few years. Like, all this shit, even, you know, games that were developed by AAA companies or developer studios. Like,
Do you want me to patch you up?
I don't see any game that's worth anything more than 60 at the moment. The only one that can, you know, comes to the top of my head is maybe like Baldur's Gate 3 or Spider-Man, but even then, they're $70. I think at most 60 is fine.
For you. First aid.
Like, fuck off with the games are due for price increase, inflation. Fuck off. That's the price of a fucking, like, that's your price of groceries. The hell? Oh, yeah, get this. A millionaire influencers telling their viewers that, hey, if you can't afford a game, then it's a you problem. That's not what people are saying. They're saying that the prices of games are ridiculously pricey. That's it. And they don't deserve to be at that price. Somehow, it becomes a sort of consumer blame game. And to me, that's idiotic, and that's, you know, out of touch. Like a millionaire telling viewers that, hey, if You know, if you think a game, a Sony $60, $70 game is too pricey, then get a job or something like that. There's plenty of people who can afford the game, you know, but they also have a right to say that a game is too pricey. Look, for me, it's like, as I said, there hasn't been a game out there in the last few years that deserves to be $70. It's relative to the price of everything else, it's not worth it. That's like, you know, that's grocery money, that's gas money. Like, what the fuck? For a piece of software?
Use that first aid.
It just bothers me to see, like, out of touch influencers who are obviously really rich or wealthy
First aid.
give the most, you know, shittiest out of touch takes, or, you know, pro, you know, do they even understand that what they're saying is corporate bullshit, or, you know, business bullshit? It's like, how delusional you have to be to really actually think, or, you know, talk that way, or believe that way. Like, that's the type of bullshit those companies, you know, or that's the type of thinking those companies spend a big, you know, shit ton of money on to get people to think that way. What it really is price gouging. The fuck? Inflation, my ass.
For you. First aid.
Oh man, how many more kills I have? That's 35% of 20. Ah, damn it. I wish this gun had a little bit more damage, but it is, you know, that's just what it is. Oh, this match is almost done. It's taking my KD, but yeah, I'm gonna have to get this, you know, obviously complete this challenge. Oh yeah, so personally for me, no, not sponsored, not partnered, not promoting anything, not partnered. So not sponsored, cannot advertise, cannot promote. Is not partnered. Why? I don't have the obviously I don't have the audience for that, right? You're streaming to like 1 or 2 viewers or 0 viewers. Company's not gonna reach out to you to ask you to sponsor it. So fortunately for me, that's the case. And I'm not, you know, not some ambassador to DICE or anything like that. I'll do when I CSL, you know, I tell people about it. Like, hey, this is on sale for like $1 or $2 for $5. And I've been pretty critical of, you know, DICE. Even some studios or developers of games that I can call some of my favorites, right? I've been pretty critical of Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, PoE, League. What else? Even Void Interactive, right? No, it's, you know, no developer studio is perfect. And criticism is part of, you know, your hopes that they will take it properly and improve on it, right? So, if anything, they should take it with grace. I've shit on GGG a lot. I've shit on Riot a lot. Activision a lot. Blizzard, DICE, you know, Bohemia, the guys who make PUBG, Epic, you name it.
We have taken objective apples.
I mean, for me, like, in the future, if I am gonna take sponsorship or partnership or do a promo or marketing deal, just want to make sure that, you know, it's all information is there to display. As long as information is displayed, description, title, even in the video or in a video, that, you know, it's an ad, and that's fine, right? Because I understand people have to earn a living, right? Or, you know, earn revenue. As long as they're doing the right thing.
We have taken objective Charlie.
And, you know, try to be as neutral as possible, or at least provide a good balance of criticism and provide a good balance of praise, right? Where praise is due, where criticism is due. You don't want it to be just only praise and no criticism, because then it's too biased. And to me, it's sort of trickery. It's a little bit of trickery. Not a little bit. It pretty much is trickery if you leave out
We have lost
any form of criticism and withhold information that would have been crucial
We have taken
for
objective
people
Edward.
who are looking to buy the game, and you just never tell them about your viewers about it. Like, that, you know, not all content creators are gonna do that. They might just only offer praise and leave everything else out, but you know, I found it admirable and respectful of people who show both sides of the story, review both sides, and offer both pros and cons. Yeah. And offer an honest
Return to the combat area.
and neutral opinion, at least. Also, there's gonna be contracts and clauses limiting what those content creators, you know, or influencers can say or display, or, you know.
We have taken objective Duff. We have lost objective apples.
And that's really up to the content creator to, you know, adjust, amend, or accept, you know, negotiate the terms of a contract. Like, it's still up to you as an influencer with your legal, you know, representatives to, you know,
We are losing objective Charlie.
make adjustments needed. You don't actually have to accept the full terms and agreements. You have the power
We have taken objective
to,
butter.
you know, with the help of your legal representative, to change up the contract, right? Or change up the rules, right? Because obviously there's going to be contracts out there, or terms of agreement, or NDAs that, you know, will prevent content creators from criticizing a game. I'd say to those content creators, either get that removed or negotiate it,
Lost objective Edward.
or just don't accept that contract until they, you know, until the company, you know, agrees to remove
We have
that
taken objective Charlie.
clause or that term as part of the contract agreement. Like, it's really,
First act,
you know,
use it.
it's in your hands at that point, right? To get things, you know, adjusted the right way, in a manner that, you know, the contract works out for you, you know, and then for your, obviously your fans or viewers, and for the, you know, the company that's working with you, right? For me, I'd say if you are a content creator or influencer that is just accepting contract as is without legal representation or legal advice, it's pretty
We are losing
irresponsible
objective
and
Edward.
idiotic, right? Especially if you're like you know, a pretty wealthy or influential or large scale influencer or content creator. It's like if you're just accepting NDAs or contracts without legal representation and it's not negotiating the terms of those
Make the medical patch.
you know, terms of agreements, then it's pretty irresponsible and idiotic.
Let's go. Deposit smoke. That's first aid for you. Let's have smoke going out.
I just trying to get up close, get my pistol shots in. So, you know, everyone's got to do the right thing, right? Viewers, streamers, YouTubers, video creators. For the love of God, don't. Stop shilling for companies and corporations. Come on now. They're not your friends. Your community is way more important than those companies. The money that you're about to make, it's not as important as your fan base or viewer base who rely on you. And, you know, you shouldn't be comfortable with tricking them, you know, just for monetary gain or popularity gain.
You want those wounds patched?
We have taken objective Charlie.
Oof, this is wild. Like we're being shelled and this gas and explosions and gunshots. This match is crazy. I'm gonna spawn back here. We gotta help E. Okay. Enough of that rant and that rumbling. Where did I leave off? Graphics, audio, gameplay, as I said. Improve on what BF1 already did. Take some influences from BF4 and 3. Add in some much needed missing comments and features from BattleBit. Storyline, theme. Follow the Ukraine conflict or war and follow the conflict between Taiwan and China, or whatever, you know, Iran and Israel or something. I don't know, whatever.
First aid, get patched up.
As far as internals go, try and bring back those OG developers. I don't know, do what you gotta do to bring them back. I mean, some of them are already far gone because they're working with Embark Studios or Respawn. Try and salvage what you have left. Oh, fuck. I was trying to res, but dude was already res. I guess last but not least, try and minimize or be as minimal as possible when it comes to the microtransaction system. Be thematically, you know, appropriate for the game theme.
First aid, use it.
And what else? Try not to lean heavily into their arcadey stuff. Like, don't go overboard with those like Call of Duty's perk system.
There,
And
first aid for you.
like that Call of UI and interface, just like that, like teenage, you know, everything has to be like edgy sort of attempt to look cool sort of interface.
Yeah, first aid.
Just go with something simple. Like, look at what BF1 has done. It's pretty simple. Simple and yet provides
Halfway there.
good amount of like information or adequate information.
We have taken objective Duff.
Oh my god, ran out of bullets. I was gonna kill. I didn't res the teammates. That way we can continue pushing. I mean, our team is pushing as best as we could. Right? We're fighting as hard as they can. But the enemy team is really good. Ah, Jesus. What a time to be. What a good time to spawn. Let me see where I am in terms of the challenge that I'm trying to complete here. I'm trying to unlock the Fedorov Automat 65%. So that's a little over 10 kills already completed. Cool. It's like maybe like 9 more, 8, 9. Oof, better strafer than I am. Oh, I ended up with a revolver too. Don't heal me first. Kill him first and then heal me after. Thank you.
Those wounds, I can fix them.
Got your back, man. I got your back.
We are losing objective
Oof.
Edward.
Poor positioning on my part. What else? What did I leave off? I think if they can implement the sniping mechanics in Battlefield 5, I think you're on the way to a really good game. Or, you know, even the shooting mechanics too. Because I heard that it's really good there as well. Or like a step up of BF1. I don't know for sure. But whatever's the better version, just improve upon that. Right. 3 and 4 also had really good shooting mechanics, but
There, first aid.
I think that, in my personal opinion, I think 1 has a slight edge. 1 and 5 in terms of just strictly on mechanics.
You're wounded. I can help you. Smoke canister, go now.
Everyone's just like hauling ass, and I'm just running with my pistol and like stabbing everyone with a syringe. It's actually hilarious.
Throwing smoke grenade.
Oof. Damn it. Ran right out in the open.
We have lost objective Edward.
I think I got like at least 7 more kills to go. Yeah, I mean, like honestly, COD and Battlefield were once the kings of FPS at some point, and have fallen from grace massively. And
Some first aid, pal.
in my opinion, it was well deserved because they took the direction that they did, and the game fell tremendously, or the franchise fell tremendously. So, you know, obviously there's a lesson learned regarding that. And just, you know, moving forward, you know, how do you learn from those mistakes? And one of the things is that, you know, this company keeps shifting, you know,
We
staff.
have taken objective Charlie.
Changing management. It's just very volatile. So, the question is, fuck, thought it was clear, but yeah, I didn't really bother to clear it. Alright, let's go to B. That is such a back and forth match, but the other team is clearly like ahead. Ah, man. Good duck or a good dodge. Ran out of bullets. I was gonna just hip fire that, but yeah, I should have aimed in. That would have at least hit more accurate shots.
That's first aid for you. You got damage? I'll fix you up. Heads up. First aid, get patched up.
We are losing objective
Damn it.
butter.
All I want is to finish this challenge. That way I can put on a primary rifle. Alright, let's go here. That, unless I can spawn there now.
Look out, be ready.
We have lost objective butter.
I'm gonna help this guy. It's just me and him.
Take a
I'll
medical
stand up
box.
there. Alright, let's give these guys a medic box.
Take that first aid.
Last thing you want to do is stand on top of this structure because you're sticking out like a sore thumb. Ripe for shooting. Apple. Ripe for picking.
We have taken objective Duff.
Ouch. 1903 marksman. Also another thing, they need to provide better information about the guns. Better, you know, more stats, more specifications. Like, I want to know the velocity of, you know, the round. I want to know what the round size is.
Right there. First aid.
You know how much damage it does. What's the RPM? What's the distance? That's, you know, maximum effective distance. You know, hold on. Give me a chart. Give me something, and not a shitty chart. Like, here, let me pull up this chart right here. This chart should show on the y-axis how much damage is being done. Obviously, it's 0 to 100, from 0 at the bottom, 100 at the top. It should have tick marks like 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. That way I know how much damage it's actually doing, rather than guessing.
Spotted an enemy medic.
We have lost objective Duff.
Watch it! It's a scout!
Oh man, feels bad. Oh, it's almost over. Try and get as much kills as I can. Let me deploy. One more kill. Finished. There we go. Everyone loves Sir Quentin Scar. I might have to save this for tomorrow. I'm just gonna look at my challenge to see how much is left. Because I think that you can't just complete a challenge and leave the match. It might not count, so. Omega. TBM, TBC. Dastardly Kick. I guess final remarks about the next battlefield. No rush. I think that, yeah, it sucks that I mean, when did 2042 came out? Like 2022, right? Or 2023? There is no rush on the next game. As much as people are, you know, waiting and hoping and are, you know, impatient. To me, is a rush game can lead to an incomplete game and will fall in the same problem as, you know, obviously 2042. So as much as people want to come out and rush a game, don't. There's no point. Take your time, make a complete product. What the hell?
We have taken objective Freddy.
This guy just abandoned ship. Did I hit something?
We have taken objective Butter.
My apologies, abandoned ship on the way. Let's see. But how many automatic weapons are there? There's Cherigati. Fedorov. I don't think General Lu is automatic. Okay, so yeah, it's just Cherigati and wait up. Cherigati. Oh. Yeah, and this sweeper, obviously. That I'm already using. But it's not the best gun right now. Do this. That was a very short drive.
First aid for you.
We have taken objective Charlie.
Enemies on the run!
Oof. Bar 19 and 18. Fascinating weapon. When did the Garand came out? I'm kind of curious. And one Garand. Such an iconic weapon. 85%. A few more kills.
We are losing objective Duff.
So we're at like 16, so we're just like 4 more kills, essentially.
First aid, use it!
What's this?
That's first.
Holy shit.
Use that first aid. Thank you. First aid.
We have lost objective
Oh.
Charlie.
I was trying to put on my mask. I was thinking of playing Last Epoch today, but I was like, I don't think I have enough time to, like, you can only 1 or 2 hours, you're not really gonna get that far, especially for a game that has a, grind curve like that. Any ARPG games, like for example PoE, I'm not gonna get that far in 1 or 2 hours. I mean, if I'm a speedrunner or decently
Taken
quick
objective
player,
Butter.
that's 2x right there. But yeah, I feel like I like to take my time with games.
Here's some first aid. I can fix your wounds. There, first aid. Smoke going out. Look like-
Don't stand there. Yep. Aye.
I
Get
can
out of
fix your
there.
wounds.
Get out of that trench.
Here, first aid.
Whoa, no.
You want those wounds packed? Throw this smoke canister. Let me patch your wounds. Watch out.
Super dangerous here.
I'll deal with those wounds if you like. That's first aid for you. Watch it.
So many players dying.
First aid, get patched up. Here, first aid. You want me to patch your wounds? Take that first aid.
Can you imagine being a combat medic in real life during World War One and Two? You know how stressful that is? I cannot imagine. It's beyond comprehension for a normal person, or
First aid for
for a non like civilian.
You're injured, I can help.
You don't have the luxury of one-tapping somebody with a syringe and rezzing them.
Get back up.
And having infinite amount of first aid kits and syringes.
Take that first aid.
We are losing objective butter.
First aid.
Okay, I should have thrown my smoke first. 101, Medic 101. Trying to keep our team alive on where was that? That was insane. It was, I mean, it was honestly funny. B, right? B is just such chaos. But I mean,
We have taken
I guess if you don't know
objective
much about me in Battlefield, is that 3 and 4. I mean, from the beginning, I've mostly played as medic. Either that or engineer. And then third would be recon, last would be support. So that's where, you know, going into battle bit or whatever, any shooter where there's healing mechanics, that's kind of where you see me doing a lot of healing stuff.
There's some first aid. Smoke grenade out. Sorry, smoke grenade.
Lay down. Roll around. You're supposed to be prone when you get burned.
We have taken objective apple.
What is this? Can I? Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay, I'm out. Too dangerous.
We have lost objective Duff.
Our objective has been captured by the enemy.
Smart thing you can do is either jump in the vehicle or stay behind it.
We have taken objective butter.
Wow, we just took butter without much resistance. That's
There, first aid.
that's awesome. All right.
We have lost objective apples.
That's a tank.
Halfway there, we have the upper hand. An enemy airship.
There's an enemy machine gun.
We have taken objective Duff.
Nice. My class is better by support, so I don't have the repair tool. Or I'm not engineer either.
lost objective Charlie.
Damn, he hit that tree straight on. That ain't no regular balloons. It's not latex. That's fucking steel or aluminum. That's why it's so hard to kill.
We have lost objective bottom.
Enemy machine gun.
We have lost objective Freddy.
What up, squad?
We have taken objective apples.
Get away from our tank.
We have lost objective apples.
Follow team, follow.
We have taken objective Freddy.
Pushing up. We might need a few side gunners though. Oh shit. Oh. Oh, it's coming back around. Nasty shot. We stuck? This driver is actually pretty good. Defensive driving and repairing, and obviously pretty good at shooting too. And then proper, objective takedowns. And also providing,
We have lost
support for the
objective
ground, ground troops.
You see him, the shock trooper.
We have lost.
Tanks are some of the most important weapons in combat. They help teams push, helps team defend. Take down other vehicles.
We have lost objective apples.
Machine gun.
Good fight, good fight. And we gave it our all. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to get out there and repair. But damn, put up hell of a fight for that long.
The scout, we see it.
We have taken objective Duff.
I unlocked it. Happy. I saw a soldier somewhere.
There, first aid for you. First aid, take it. Smoke out! Smoke cannons, we're going out. First aid, use it.
Oh, oh. Okay. Oh. Oh shit.
First aid.
I'm alive. I'm dead. Such is the life and death in Battlefield. Okay, I get it. What is the 40 kills with the Che Regatti for the trench? Cool. Ring dot cross beam. I like beam. 2.5x bayonet. PO8. It's not a bad pistol, honestly. Let's see. See how this goes. Alright, let's see how the automatic goes. I think I can technically get the other one too, but that one had to do Che Regatti, so it's the trench one, right? It's just less accurate, but everything else. Oh, better damage. No, same damage. Better hip fire. Better. No, same control. The only thing is it has better hip fire but lower accuracy. Okay. But I do prefer optics, so. It was worth the
We are losing objective Charlie.
grind. So essentially you can either do the challenge and unlock the weapon or just outright buy the weapon. Some of them are locked to challenges though, so yeah.
We have lost objective Charlie.
Take that first aid.
10. Match is done. Oh. I guess tomorrow, if I'm not tired, I get to try out the automat. Fedorov automat. I mean, if you're a medic, you kind of want that. Either use that or Cherigati or the M1903 trench or something. But I think the automat is probably where you should probably head towards. But I mean, you're free to use any of the semi-autos, but I don't think yeah. Most situations are, well, not all situations, but having an automatic gun is pretty helpful. Obviously, it's not the best, but I think it's very useful. Columbus? Benet Mercier. I don't know if that's like a LMG. Okay, I'm just gonna go in there, just try out the gun, head out, because it's already late, like past due, late, so let's give it a shot. And exit out, but I don't know. I mean, I've been enjoying BF1. Like, maybe it's just my mood, but I did play BF4 the other day. For some reason, I did not have. Well, it was actually pretty fun, but not as much fun as this. This one is like, I don't know, refreshing, I guess. I think maybe it's because I didn't spend enough time on this game as I hoped for, so everything feels new to me, I guess. I could see why my oldest brother likes this game. It's really well done. I should have gifted to him when it was on sale. The trench gun or Mono 10, the one taps. I myself has used shotguns and automatic shotguns, so nothing wrong with that. Oh, I'm on the opposite side of my driver. Oh yeah. If you're a medic, just do the challenge. Use this helps later. And use the C96. Unlock the Fedorov, and you're gold. Unless you're really into semi-autos, but this one is clearly the dominant gun right now, or in my opinion. I don't think there's only other two are the M19 or whatever 703 and the Cherigati in terms of like automatic, but those two don't even come close to the damage.
Here, first aid. Let me patch your wounds.
Ouch. Let me see, what was the name of it? Oh, Epic Beep. Yeah, he was my driver. It's kind of funny to see him on the opposite side, but yeah. So yeah, there's only two other automatic guns, or technically if you count their variants, but essentially it's just the Che Brigati and its variants. So that's one set. And then the M1907 and its variants. So essentially that's only, you know, 2 base models plus Fedorov and its variants. So that's essentially only 3 base models that have automatic variants. Everything else is semi-auto. And clearly the Fedorov, whether you want to use the trench or the optical, is clearly superior. But yeah, if you want to get that Fedorov, you can either grind for trench using the Che Brigati trench and just do squad hills, which is easy. 40 kills shouldn't be that hard with this Che Brigati trench. Or if you wanted to get the optical one, you had to do the what was it called? I think it was the Selb-Schlater in 1916 optical. I think it was like 40 kills or something like that, and then 20 C96 kills, which is not hard at all. So yeah. And then you unlock the Fedorov Automat optic. So
We have taken objective Edward.
it has a lot of kick to it though, but if you can somehow control it, it's probably as good as it gets. Because especially if you're up close and, you know, CQBing it, that's probably the gun to go with. Unless you're really good at, you know, have a really quick trigger finger, then I think many of the semi-auto weapons will do just fine.
We are losing objective Apple. We have taken objective Duff.
I don't know. I'm having fun. Game's good. I have nothing else, no complaints whatsoever.
We have lost objective Apples.
It's 8-year-old game too.
We have taken objective Charlie.
Only, well, I guess BF4, BF1. The only problem is there's not enough players. Servers are empty. It's like a ghost town. So that's the only problem. That's it. It's hard to find packed servers. That's all. Server balancing might be an issue here and there, but for the most part, if you can somehow get onto the official one, or get on one that has good auto balancing, then
We are losing objective Charlie.
ouch. Chaos. I want to land 1 kill with this at least. Because every time I run into an enemy, it's like a whole squad.
That's first aid for you.
We are losing objective Duff.
Ouch. Oh, what are the medic perks out there? Concealed rescue. Uh-huh. Wait, 3 getting started assignments to begin this assignment. What? It's part of some tutorial or something. I should have known. That was an 8 out. Damn, we're holding on to D for our life. Okay, just one more kill and I will call it. It's already late. Looking forward to trying to scunt him
I'll fix those wounds.
or whatever.
Objective Duff.
Here's some first aid. Throwing smoke grenade. Use that first aid.
We have lost objective Duff.
Is there any way in?
The enemy controls all objectives.
Ouch. Oh, that's an SMG. That looks like a nade launcher. It might be. Spawn here. Right, try and get one more kill. Let's call it.
Smoke grenades for that.
We have taken objective Edward.
It's a really good gun, but at medium long, it's kind of hard to control.
Fix them.
But at medium short or short to medium short to medium, it's pretty good. Well, obviously you can't compete against SMGs like that, but I'd say, yeah, medium short to medium long and medium.
We have lost objective
Damn.
Edward.
I had that luxury of cover. Getting rocked, but that's okay. Oh, opening. Somebody made it.
Halfway there, the enemy has the upper hand.
First aid, take it. There, first aid.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's not good. I was alive for a few minutes there. There was no safe spot there. Alright, one more. And then we call it for sure. Gotta go. I gotta go.
We are losing objective Edward.
Oh, okay. Alright, call it here. We'll try to get out more tomorrow or whenever. Fun games. Alright, go head out. Peace.